Hi my dear 4th standard children, welcome back to our YouTube class. So today we are going to see the second part from your reproduction in animals. So in the first part we saw, right, so we discussed about reproduction in animals. So animals, they reproduce by laying eggs, and also animals give birth to the young ones. So these are the two different ways animals reproduce. So also we saw in the first part what is reproduction, right. So we will just have a small recap about the first part. So in the first part we discussed about what is reproduction. So reproduction is the process by which living things, they produce more of their own kind. So that is known as reproduction, right. So we saw animals reproduce by two different ways. They lay eggs and they give birth to young ones, right. And also we discussed what are the animals that lay eggs, and also we discussed the internal structure of the egg. So we discussed about the internal structure of the egg, and also we discussed the life cycle of a chicken. So also we discussed about the life cycle of a chicken, right. Yes. So this is what in the first part we discussed. So today we are going to see the second part, okay, right. So now we are going to discuss about the life cycle of a butterfly. So all insects lay eggs, right. So same way butterfly, they lay insect on the leaf. So from the egg, the egg hatches into a caterpillar or larva. So from the egg we can see a caterpillar or larva comes out, okay. So this caterpillar or larva undergoes several changes to become an adult. So this larva or the caterpillar feeds on leaves, right, and they grow in size. So once they once they increase their size, they become inactive and they they cover themselves with a covering, okay. So this stage is called as pupa. So this covering is called as pupa. So here butterfly lay eggs. So once the butterfly lay eggs on the leaves, right. So from the eggs, caterpillar or larva, you can also call that as larva. So they feed on leaves, they eat the leaves and they undergo many changes to become an adult. So once they becomes increase in size, once they becomes inactive, so it forms itself, it covers itself with a covering. So that covering is known as, that stage is known as pupa, P-U-P-A, right. So this covering is actually this it is called as cocoons, okay. So it covered by a protective layer called cocoons. So cocoon is the protective layer, right. So once the after 1 week, from the pupa a new butterfly, I mean young butterfly will comes out of the cocoon, right. So after that it increases its stages and it become an adult. So this is the life cycle of a butterfly, right. So from the egg hatches into a larva or a caterpillar, and the caterpillar grows in size and it forms a protective layer called cocoons. So it becomes a pupa. So this pupa, from the pupa, new butterfly emerges out after a week. So after 1 week, new butterfly comes out of the pupa, right. So this change of stage, okay. So this change of young form to an adult form, this process is called as metamorphosis, right. So, metamorphosis means it changes its stages. So, now let us write what is metamorphosis, because in your question answers you will get the question what is metamorphosis. So, metamorphosis means the process of changes from an young form to an adult. So, this is known as metamorphosis. So, how many stages of a butterfly have? How many stages butterfly life cycle have? It has 4 stages. First one, egg. The egg hatches into a larva. From the larva we can see it forms into a pupa, and from the pupa new butterfly, that is adult butterfly, emerges out. Right. So, these are the 4 stages of life cycle of butterfly. And what is metamorphosis? Metamorphosis means the process of changes. So, changes from an young form to an adult form. This is from an young form to an adult form. This change is known as metamorphosis, right. So, are you clear with metamorphosis? Right. Now, likewise, how all insects they lay eggs, same way butterfly is an insect. The same way even cockroach and grasshopper, they are also insects and they lay eggs, but they have 3 stages. So, butterfly has 4 stages, but when we see that is grasshopper. So, grasshopper has 3 stages. So, from the egg we can see a nymph comes out. Nymph means it is the younger form of the grasshopper. So, from the nymph grows into a adult grasshopper. So, grasshopper has 3 stages: egg, nymph and adult. So, once from the egg, after 2 weeks, nymphs, that is NYMPH, nymph comes out of the egg, and this nymph grows into a adult. After 4 to 7 weeks it grows into a adult grasshopper. The same way cockroach also a insect, it also has 3 stages and it lay eggs. Okay. So, the cockroach lay eggs. From the eggs, the same way nymph comes out, and from the nymph grows into a adult cockroach. So, butterfly has 4 stages of life cycle, cockroach and grasshopper has 3 stages of life cycle. So, when we see this nymph changes into a cockroach, right. So, it undergoes various changes. The body covering of the nymph comes out several times to become a cockroach, right. So, it removes its outer covering. So, this is known as molting. Okay. So, what is molting? So, molting is nothing but, you can see here the grasshopper removes its outer covering. So, the removal of the shedding of the outer skin, the removal of the outer covering is known as molting. So, you can see a grasshopper is molting. Okay. So, not only like some insects, even we can see the molting process in the snake also. So, here you can see a snake which is molting. In Tamil they will say, right, thol urikkirathu, paambu thol urikkum, they will say, right. So, that process is known as molting. So, what is molting? So, you can see here a snake is removing its outer. So, every period, so for every periodic weeks they change, they remove their body covering and they have a new body covering. Okay. So, this is known as molting. So, first let us write what is molting. So, molting means molting is a process of shedding skin. Okay. Shedding skin. So in Tamil they will say பாம்பு தோல் இருக்குது, they will say, right. The same way even some insects, சில பூச்சிகள் கூட என்ன பண்ணுமா, அதோட பாடி கவரிங் ரிமூவ் பண்ணி then it will become an adult. So from the younger form it becomes an adult by the process of molting. So insects also molt. The same way snake also molt. So molt means shedding of the outer skin is called as molting, right. Yes. Now let us see about the life cycle of a frog. So here we can see, we are going to discuss about the life cycle of a frog. So adult frog lay eggs, okay, on the it will lay eggs inside a pond or inside a lake on the water, right, inside the water, right. So it lay many nearly hundreds of eggs, clusters of eggs. So this clusters of eggs is called as spawns. So this eggs is known as spawns. So clusters of egg, what is spawns, they will ask in your question, in your 2-mark question. So you have to like cluster means a bunch, kottu they will say, right. So many hundreds of eggs, that is known as spawns, okay. So the clusters of frog eggs is known as spawns. So from the eggs hatch into a tadpole. So tadpole is the younger form of the frog, okay. So from the egg you can see, inside the egg you can see the embryo. So from the embryo tadpole will comes out. So tadpole is the younger form of the frog, okay. So tadpole it look like a fish, it breathes under the water, it cannot live outside the water. So it will live inside the water and it will breathe through the gills. How a fish breathes, the same way tadpole also breathe with the help of gills, and they have a tail like structure, okay, but it will look like a small fish, but it is actually a younger form of a frog. So this tadpole undergoes various stages, various changes in their body. So thereby the tadpole, slowly the limbs comes out of it and the tail becomes short. So after few days, after few weeks, so the tadpole, we can see small limbs comes out of the tadpole, and slowly the tadpole is changed into a frog. So this is the life cycle of the frog, okay. So here we learned what is spawns. So spawns is nothing but cluster of eggs. So this change, so this is also a metamorphosis, right. So I already told you metamorphosis means it is a change from a younger form, chinna form la irundhu peri adult form ah maarada metamorphosis. The same way here also we can see the younger form of the frog is changed into an adult form, right. So this is also a metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means changing of younger form to an adult form. Even frog also undergoes metamorphosis, right. Yes. So next we will see what are the stages of, life cycle of frog. So first one is frog lays eggs. So these eggs are known as spawns, right. So it will lay eggs in the lake or in a pond, right. So this eggs hatch into a small tadpole. So tadpole is a younger form of the frog, right, like it will look like a fish, right. So it will be black in color, okay. So after the tadpole undergoes various stages and it will develop limbs, and thereby the tail becomes shortened and it will form into a frog, adult frog. So this stage is known as metamorphosis. Right. So now you learned the life cycle of a butterfly and life cycle of a frog, and also you learned some new words, spawns, molting also, right. Yes. So now let us see, there are some more animals that lay eggs. We already saw birds, insects lay eggs. The same way fish also lay eggs. So small fishes come out of the eggs. The eggs are hatches into a large, small fish. Okay. So, if the fish lay eggs inside the water. Okay. So, even the fish lay eggs. And reptiles, what are the reptiles? Tortoise and then snake, crocodile. So, these reptiles, they lay eggs inside the sand. They make a burrow, they make a pit using with their limbs, and they lay eggs inside the pit. So, once they lay eggs inside the pit, they closes the pit with the help of the sand. So, they will completely close the eggs with the help of the sand to prevent the eggs from the enemies, from the predators. Okay. So, from after the eggs attain a warmth. So, once the eggs attain some warmth, I mean heat, so the egg hatches into a small kids. Okay. So, even like reptiles also lay eggs, and they have a very hard shell. So, usually they have a very hard shell. If you take the egg of the reptiles, it will be very hard. It will have a very hard shell. Okay. So, it cannot be easily broken. So, likewise we can see lizards also lay eggs. Okay. Lizards, crocodiles, tortoise, and then even the reptiles like snakes also lay eggs. Okay. So, right. So, now let us see about the next one. So, animals like mammals. So, of course, mammals, all the animals, they give birth to the young ones. Some animals, they give birth to the young ones. Even the human beings, even us, even we are mammals. So, we give birth to the young ones, we will not lay eggs. So, the young will grow inside our body. So, inside the mother's uterus, and the baby comes out of the mother's body. Okay. So, even human beings also give birth to the young ones. And let us see some more animals like giraffe. So, giraffe, even elephant, so they give birth to the young ones. So, the baby will grow inside the uterus of the mother's body, and once it mature, once the baby matures, so after a period, so the baby comes out of the mother's body. Okay. So, likewise we can see elephant, rhinoceros, cow and monkeys, gorilla. So, they give birth to the younger ones. So, all these mammals, once they give birth to the younger ones, they feed their baby, with the help of their mother's milk. So, they have mammary glands. So, the mammals have mammary glands. So, with the help of mammary glands, milk is secreted in their mammary glands to nourish the younger ones, to nourish the kids. So, the mother animal give the milk to the younger ones, right. Okay. So, mammals give birth to the younger ones by giving birth to the younger ones, and they feed their younger ones, right, with the help of their mother's milk, right. And the same way, all the mammals, their body is covered with hairs, right. But if you take aquatic animals like dolphin, whale, seals, their body is not covered with hairs, but they are also give birth to younger ones. So, they are the mammals, they are aquatic mammals that give birth to younger ones. If you take dolphin or whale, even though they live inside the water, they will not come under fish category. So, they are like us, they are mammals, they give birth to the younger ones, right. Yes. So, and also if you take kangaroos, the kangaroo's kid, it grows inside the mother's pouch. So, when it is born, it will be very small in size. The younger form of the kangaroo is called as joey. So, joey is the name of the younger kangaroo, right. So, once it is born out of the mother's body, so it will be very small, it will be very small than the thumb. So, our leg thumb is there, no. So, it is very small than that size, but it stays inside the mother's pouch. So, the kangaroo has a pouch here. So, in that pouch the baby grows there into a it grows in size. Okay. Likewise, we can see, so some more mammals, the anteater and duck-billed Platypus. So they are exception. Why? Because so these mammals, they will not give birth, but they lay eggs and they feed their younger ones. Okay. So what are the animals? We are going to write what are the animals. So this one is anteater. Anteater, and this is duck-billed platypus. So this is platypus, right. So these two animals are exceptions. Why? Because they lay eggs. Mostly mammals will not lay eggs, but these animals, they lay eggs and they feed the younger ones with the help of their milk, mother's milk. Okay, right. So you can see here the platypus eggs. So the platypus can able to survive in water also, on land also. Okay. So in this class you have learnt how animals reproduce by laying eggs or by giving birth to young ones, and also in this session you learnt the life cycle of the butterfly and the life cycle of the frog, and also you learnt some new words. What is metamorphosis, what is molting, what is spawns, right, and also we learned how mammals give birth. So mammals give birth to their younger ones. So mostly their body is covered with hairs and they nourish their younger ones with the help of their mother's milk, and they protect their younger ones. Till the younger ones becomes an adult, the mother animal protect the younger ones. Right, and also we learnt about the kangaroo and some more two examples, platypus and anteater. So they lay eggs, but they feed their younger ones with the help of their mother's milk, right. Yes children. So in this class you have learnt about the reproduction in animals, second part. So hope this class is useful for you. Go through the video and again. In the below description link you can see a Google Drive link. Click that and you will get the reproduction in animals lesson materials like study material, self-assessment and question bank. Take the study material and copy in your science subject note and read from your science subject note. So after you read, take the self-assessment and do the self-assessment. After you do the self-assessment, you will come to know how far you have understood about the chapter. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.